I close my reflection with a few of the questions that I believe we, directors and staff, together will need to wrestle with continually in order to carry out GBHEM's mission faithfully in the years ahead. How do we maintain a proper tension between innovation and inheritance, between institution and movement? Our fast-changing world requires institutions that are nimble, adaptive, and innovative, ready to try new ways to meet emerging needs and abandoning ways that no longer seem adequate. How do we listen deeply and responsively to our world while not abandoning our core values in efforts to be relevant? How do we honor our responsibility as a steward of the church's heritage, its values and convictions, while attending to what the Spirit might be saying to us in the ministries that emerge at the edges of our institutional life? How do we assist the church in connecting past and present, even as we lean into the future? In our work of preparing global leaders for a global church, how do we ensure that we are not merely reproducing U.S. institutions and approaches? How do we listen deeply and genuinely to the multiple voices of our fellow United Methodists around the world, especially when what we hear is unfamiliar, even disconcerting? If the global nature of the church is intended to reflect a transnational connection, how can this be reconciled with an increasing drift toward localism in the United Methodist Church in the United States? In what ways may the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry, in fact, reflect rather than challenge this myopia in our own institutional life as a church? In nurturing an educated leadership for the church, how do we keep ourselves open to new creative ways of learning, ways that may take us beyond the classical means of attaining a theological education, perhaps at times beyond the academy? What do we mean when we speak of the value of a Methodist ethos in the formation of clergy? Are we committed to doing the hard, critical work of appropriating our Wesleyan and Methodist heritage in ways that honor its best insights for a new day? In our work within an emerging global United Methodist Church, finally, how do we assess success in the development and nurture of institutions for leadership development? How do we separate cultural definitions of success from faithfulness to the gospel? How do we allow the voices of our United Methodist sisters and brothers around the world to challenge the predominance, perhaps at times the captivity, of our assumptions, our values, and our approach to our work to United States culture? Institutions matter. They have power. They shape our lives. And they matter particularly during times of transition, change, and disruption, as the recent global financial crisis has brought home to us. Institutions in the church too matter. They too have power, and they too shape lives. And they too matter more than ever during times of transition and change as the church is experiencing today. May God grant us the grace to use our gifts as a key institution within the church to guide it in preparing the kind and quality of leader that can lead the people called United Methodists in faithful and prophetic ministry in the years ahead. I thank you for listening.